Hello, 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 beautiful people, and welcome back to another experience here at Career Gems for the Journey. I want to draw to your attention. I didn't say live because I am actually in another location. This is a pre recorded experience because I wanted to make sure that we did not miss a week, even though. By the time you see this, I'm going to be offsite at a client event, and I wanted to make sure that we left you with some substantive content to make sure that we were doing our part as we prepare for 2026 and go deeper into it. Now, as you will know, that we are really, really deep in our career and care summit planning, but we're also very deep into Black History Month. And I don't want to leave that out. Black History Month is absolutely mission critical to continue to celebrate and acknowledge, even more so in the times that we're living in. So I wore some of my favorite Black things. I wore my Wakanda sweatshirt from a new brand that my husband and I have been really enjoying, Actively Black. I have on my red Boss Babe lipstick from the Lip Bar. So shout out to Black-owned brands and all of those who are continuing to celebrate and uplift Black history and really acknowledge the critical role that Black Americans and Black people have played in shaping this country, in shaping the things that we get to enjoy. It is so mission critical that we don't forget history or allow revisionists of history to take us off track. So shout out to all of you. Happy Black History Month. And I want to jump into something that I thought was important that we talk about before we get into the Career and Care Summit. And it kind of forces us to rename this episode a bit and really reframe building your network before you need it and reframing that to build your network, you will need it. And building your network, you will need it. And that just slight adjustment to language to me makes a significant difference because oftentimes we are perceiving ourselves as not having as many options as we really do have. And your network is a direct result of your intentional effort to make connection with people and to create mutually beneficial relationships. And unfortunately, I don't think we get taught that until it is much, much later in our career. And we begin to see how other people have moved and networked and build relationships that have served them and that continue to serve them. So I really want to make sure that we talk about building your network. You will need it in the context of a today environment. Now, there has been lots of discussion around restructures and layoff and economic downturns. We've covered that a number of times here. And I want to make sure that we stand on the fact that the evidence shows us that new opportunities are only going to be introduced in this economy. And those new opportunities are going to be introduced in a very limited way. Your network and your relationships are what are going to create new opportunities for you. And oftentimes, the traditional path that we may have taken in order to get funding for our businesses, in order to get a new job, in order to get a promotion, in order to get our child into these programs or activities or schools, those ways and the traditional path of like just follow the rules, it is being disrupted in a tremendous way. And I encourage the disruption, honestly. I encourage the disruption of using your network and building relationships and being a resource in other people's networks so that we can collectively, as a community, have more resources than we would have had access to if we would have stayed playing by the rules of wait your turn or only these kinds of people get access to these types of opportunities. I want us to blow that out of the water. I want the Career and Care Summit to be a phenomenal example that stands on foundations that we are building, that those day two relationships, those phase of life relationships where you're in your second act and you can pick up a phone and call someone to be able to make a connection for your loved one, someone to be able to help your child get into a program or get another opportunity, someone that may be the right job connection for your spouse, for your partner, for your husband, someone that can help you launch your business, help you develop more assets that you can then be able to make financial choices. I want you to be able to have these people in your network. I want you to be able to pick up the phone and call or send an email and be able to get many of your needs met, or at least at minimum, get a referral for whatever those things are that you need. So I have a real-time example of this. I have a client that we've been working together for a little while now. She is working at a huge multinational company and doing well generally. The company's making changes. She wants to know if she should stay in the organization or she should take her talents elsewhere. And in doing that, that's a tentative place where you're still inside of an organization. You're trying to figure out if you should stay. You don't want to signal, right, too loud to other people in the organization that you're considering leaving. So she and I have been working on who is already in your network that you can tap into in order to get better perspective, insider knowledge in other organizations. And how do you do that in a way that's discreet so you're not putting your current opportunity at risk? Now, caveat, I believe we should always be looking for great opportunities to come across our desk. We should always be responding to opportunities with recruiters and starting conversations and looking at professional organizations that could be a fit that will help us grow. That's my disclaimer. That's my caveat. So I don't think you should wait until you're looking for an opportunity to make sure that you've been in connection and been in really, really strong communication with people who could be helpful to you. So now that I've said that, she and I begin to work together. We develop a plan and we start to really look at who are the people that can bring her great opportunities. And we got to the point where we were pulling teeth to figure out who is in your network already. And it just reminded me that now we're at a place where she actively needs to use a network that she hasn't cultivated or that she's not confident will respond to her. And it reminded me that we have to build our network consistently because we are going to need it. What we'll need it for, when we will need it, we can't be so sure about. But having a diverse, wide-ranging, broad skill set network of people that you can pick up the phone and call when you're in need or when you want to add some value inside of an organization, this is what I think we should all be actively practicing consistently. And the Career and Care Summit really was born from this idea that we can be in a room in person, really around like-minded individuals, and the right connections will come from being in the room with a curated group of like-minded individuals. There are so many game-changing, decision-making, shot calling, you name it, type of individuals who will be in the room at the Career and Care Summit, that if you are there, you will get something you needed from being in the room. And it's in a safe place where people can have good conversation, people can ask questions. It's all from this context of we will rise together. We do better when we collaborate. Women do better when we partner and work with one another. And it dispels any of these myths of competition is the only thing that women do when they're thinking about their professional growth. There is amazing space for all of us to win. We just have to make sure that we are actually working together so that we can win. There's a great story that one of our previous podcast guests and our co-host that Diana Housling shares about how working together with her network of professional women to talk about salary, to talk about compensation, to talk about who is getting the best offers, really gave them a sense of internal power that they could then leverage, and it informs their decision-making. Now they had evidence of what their peers were making compensation-wise. They had evidence of who was getting the right titles, who was getting the types of compensation packages, who was getting the benefits, who was getting on panels. They used this collective power and information to position themselves to be better, to make more money, to get more opportunities. And that only happened because she had done the work to build relationships, to have a strong network of people who were in positions to be able to feed that information back. And it's this idea of you climb a ladder, you accomplish some things, you make sure that you recalibrate when you're at the top or when you're on your rung, whatever that rung is of the ladder, that you're now aware that you can add value to others and vice versa. So that's why I really pitch, and I am so such an advocate of professional organizations, making sure that you're remaining networked and making sure that you take it outside of your day-to-day workplace, making sure that your whole network and all the people that you're connected to aren't grounded in the company that you work for today or in the manager that you are, whose team you are on today. The world is changing. There is so much change that we need to find our footing. And oftentimes we find that community, we find that footing in community of safe space people who are navigating similar challenges, who also know that building these networks will benefit them in the future. This whole like-mindedness means that nobody's on the underside. Everybody is on the upside and creating opportunities for one another and willing to share freely, because there isn't a need for scarcity. There's so much scarcity in the workplace right now, in budgets, in cuts that are happening in the company, in whether or not people feel like they're going to even, have the job security that they're looking for. The truth is, we know that job security is not something that we can count on or that we can rely on. So it's these networks, these communities that we're building offline outside of our workplace, in addition to the networks that we have in our workplace, that can really be the difference maker as we think about what the future of work is going to look like, what the next opportunity that you are hoping to be able to conquer will, and where it'll come from. It's going to come from the network of people that you've invested in, that you've built from years of being an authentic, honest, accessible person who is super competent at the top of your game, right? And we already know, if you're here and you're listening to this live or listening to this episode, we know that you're capable. We know that you're invested. And there's a safe assumption that you are good at what it is you do. Now we're trying to make sure that we bring our head up and we look around and do a pan to say, let me pan the room and understand, am I building relationships that are going to go the distance for me? Am I building relationships that are going to sustain me in this second act of my career when I'm looking to make massive transitions? I think the other part that is so personal to me right now is I am navigating being in a sandwich generation and having children that I am responsible for, that I love and adore and get to spend amazing time with, but that require a high mental load. They require a high level of connection, and they require a high level of emotional engagement. And that's what they deserve. That's how I choose to parent, right? But I'm also navigating aging parents, and I'm navigating aging aunts and uncles and other people in my community that I love and respect and want to be able to be there for. And understanding that all of those things are happening at the same time for me. All of those things are happening at the same time for me. So I know for a fact that there are other women who are navigating a similar sandwich generation, navigating a successful career, wanting to show up as a great member of their community, wanting to be the kind of parent and be the kind of partner or be the kind of best friend, be the kind of homegirl that they want to be. And that is the reason why I wanted the Career and Care Summit to happen. Because one, you can invite your homegirls, you can invite your work bestie, you can invite your community members, people that you want to work with and collaborate with, because the space is going to be made to do just that. And we all benefit by being a part of a broader collective. And how that will evolve is something that I'm so passionately excited about. But I created it because it is what I wish I had. It is what I am hearing directly from professional women who are navigating this second act of life in that age of, and second act of life looks like that age 35 to 55, who are trying to figure out, what does the future hold for me? And as I think about that, I need some other perspectives, people that I can trust, people that I can, really believe in and have confidence in, people that I see as my peers that are like-minded and doing their thing and are also willing to collaborate with me and help me do my thing. So I'm so excited for the Career and Care Summit because I believe that second act of life, those 35 to 55-year-old women who are navigating these life happenings, right? These real time, real deal situations are going to benefit tremendously because they chose to be in the room. They chose to make time for themselves and invest in building their network by joining us at the Career and Care Summit. Now, you can see the lineup for the summit at our website at gemsforthejourney.org. I promise you, the way that this lineup of people is coming together is so dynamic and it's so robust, and it covers industries, it covers skill sets, it covers background. We're talking about creatives, we're talking about corporate leaders, we're talking about business owners, we're talking about all the kinds of people that are like-minded and can really be the difference maker in your network, and you can be the difference maker in their network. Let's not forget, you have something unique and valuable to offer, and I want you to be in the room so that we can all benefit from the richness and from the energy, from the ideas, from the innovation that are going to come along with being in the room at the Career and Care Summit. So we have to believe that we can trust that the people that we are being connected to, that we will be in the room with, are going to help us reach our ultimate goal, reach the level of career success that we desire, reach the level of relationship and connection success that we desire. But it comes from putting the work in. It comes from building your network and being in the room. And we have to do that now. And also, when you're thinking about building that network, there are so many people that I have come in contact with that are brilliant connectors, that see a person and understand a need and want to make those connections happen. And that is what intentional networking can look like. And the outcomes from that really intentional networking of, I listened, I heard what your challenge was, and I want to partner with you. I want to collaborate with you. I want to hear you out. I want to know that I'm not alone in navigating what I'm navigating. And that only happens through really taking the time to slow down and being intentional about listening, communicating, and being in a room full of like-minded individuals, which is what we're working to create at the Career and Care Summit. Now, I haven't mentioned this, I don't think, before, but we are also kicking off the Career and Care Summit with a pre-summit mixer. So if you're trying to figure out, man, that whole day summit is something that I definitely want to do, I want to participate in, but I'm not going to know anybody in the room, and it's going to be a little bit awkward. How am I going to build those connections and relationships? We are offering a pre-summit mixer for just that reason. It is a 3-hour food and drink and casual conversation that gives you a chance to kind of get to know a few people informally before you head into the summit. Our sponsors will be there at the pre-summit mixer. Our nonprofit partner, the National Black MBA Association of Philadelphia, will be with us co-sponsoring the pre-summit mixer. Now, I'm going to add another layer on because it's Black History Month. We are hosting our pre-summit mixer at the Belmont Mansion in Philadelphia. Now, what I have learned as a Philadelphian, and I'm continuing to learn, is there is so much rich history in Philadelphia that is worthwhile to celebrate and to acknowledge. Philadelphia is going to celebrate its 250th anniversary or its birthday, and we're doing that in 2026. So what does this all mean, Leah? Why is this important? The Belmont Mansion is a historic mansion tied to Underground Railroad path that our ancestors were traveling through the Belmont Mansion in order to achieve freedom from chattel slavery. The Belmont Mansion not only has historical relevance, but it is a beautiful space in Fairmount Park that we are going to take over for our pre-summit mixer so that you get the benefit of history as well as seeing the potential for what's in the future. And we're doing that in person in Philadelphia on March 20th. Friday, March 20th, 2026, we will be at the Belmont Mansion from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. for the Career and Care Summit mixer, pre-summit mixer, in partnership with the National Black MBA Association of Philadelphia, who's been a phenomenal nonprofit partner. So you asked and we listened. We want you to be in the room. We know that these kinds of rooms have to be curated and they have to be built with intention. And that's really what my team and I have been doing over here at the Career and Care Summit. Like, how do we make it the best experience for as many people as possible, but make it feel very intentional, very curated, and make sure that that network, those relationships, those connections are made. And we think that we have a combination that's going to be phenomenal. So join us on Friday, March 20th at the pre-summit mixer. That's at the Belmont Mansion in Philadelphia. And then come and kick it with us at the Career and Care Summit all day on March 21st at the Community College of Philadelphia in person. Now, more information on all of this is available at our website at gemsforthejourney.org. You can go and grab your ticket to the Career and Care Summit now. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I believe that we're going to sell out of the tickets for the Career and Care Summit by the end of February. So if you're sitting thinking, oh man, I'm going to wait, maybe I'll follow up in March, I'm going to put it on my things to do list and I'm going to get to it. I don't want you to be the person who could have been in the room but missed the opportunity because the ticket sold out. Go and grab your ticket today. Check out the lineup and the agenda for the Career and Care Summit on our website at gemsforthejourney.org. I promise that lineup and the energy in the room, as well as all of the pleasant surprises and all the exciting things that we have that will come along with participating in the Career and Care Summit, is enough reason to be in the room. You just have to want to spend the time and invest in you and do it with us. So your network is going to be the difference maker for your next professional, for your next business, for your next life opportunity. Your network is going to do that for you. And we want to help you to build and enhance and fortify your network. And we want you to do that with us at the Career and Care Summit. So I've given you the rundown. I'm telling you what I know to be true. And I will close with this. If you're thinking about what is next, or you're feeling any trepidation, there's a lot to be frustrated about in the world that we're living in today. There is a news cycle that is very difficult for us to stay in without feeling like there's a direct impact to our overall health and well-being. So knowing that those are things that are working against us, the Career and Care Summit is working for you. And we had an amazing conversation last week with Tara J. Frank, I guess earlier this week with Tara J. Frank, and she helped us to have a broader perspective about what you are before the world. Her book is going to do as a support system or as a tool that you can use as we are navigating this second act of life as professional women. Everyone who joins us at the summit is going to get a copy of her book, You Are Before the World. And that is courtesy of our amazing sponsor, Mars Snacking, and the very, very, very thoughtful and generous Anton Vincent, who is one of our sponsors for the Career and Care Summit. Now, we've lined up an amazing experience in person. We have phenomenal giveaways. The room is going to be so on point that I want you to be there. Please build your network because you will need it, and take the opportunity to join us at the Career and Care Summit because your network is waiting for you. And these connections will be a game changer. I believe it for myself. I believe it for you. And I appreciate you riding with me. Until we get to connect again live, I will see you on the other side. Please continue to make your journey work for you. And I will see you soon.